Well, good evening, Miss Catherine, or should I call you Cat? Uh, my new nickname for you. I wanted to make a video for you because, well, I wanted to keep talking to you, but you had to do your thing. No big deal. And I wanted to tell you a story, which will, I think, tell you a lot about me and what I've been through and something that shapes who I am. There's a lot of things that shape who I am, obviously, but, well, this one shapes me pretty deeply. So, uh, the only people that are here to listen to the story are me, my black and mild, and, well, Mr. Rooster. Say hi, Mr. Rooster. Yeah, it's a thing. The roosters that we have, well, they like to roost on the balcony when they're outside of their cage, which I took a picture of for you earlier. And their hens are over there, plus another rooster. Apparently he's been bad, so he's been put in the cage. So anyway, I say we because I do live here with my mom and dad by choice, by the way. I used to live in Rhode Island, where that best friend of mine basically robbed me and stabbed me in my back and stole everything from me. But that's another story for another time. But this is my childhood home, actually. All this property and this home, and there's the grill back there, and there's a pool over there, and yeah, we got everything. We got a pickleball court and a basketball court and all kind of shit. Anyway, so I'm in process of planning out the purchase of this home for myself, to which I'm making major changes once I kick my mom and dad out, and well, they go live somewhere that they want to live, where they can just play pickleball and work. Because my dad, he doesn't want to really take care of this house anymore. So I'm going to take care of it. I already do take care of it. Do all the maintenance on it, pretty much. Whatever he doesn't do, I do. Anyway, I want them to just, relax and do their thing. They kind of just don't want to deal with this. They talked about selling it before, and I said, well, I'm buying this house. It's got all my memories here of my family and everything, and this is where I spent much time growing up. So, I'm going to buy this house, and my brother, who owns South Jersey Landscaping, under which title I work as a mechanic, an arborist, which is basically a tree expert, and a landscaper. So, that's one of my jobs. A couple of the other jobs are on hold, and I'll tell you about those later, and you'll know why. Anyway, so I'm living here with my mom and dad for the time being until I kick them out. But there's really no rush to kick them out because I love them and I'm a family guy and we get along very well. We didn't get along for a while for various reasons, but I'll tell you those things too. But we get along great now. And, I got a nice room to stay in, and, mom and dad and I kind of share the food bill and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I love living here because, well, there's all kinds of things to do here. So it's very COVID-19 friendly, very. You're never bored here at this house, for sure. So, anyway, so I wanted to tell you this story with Mr. Rooster here. Hi, Mr. Rooster. He's not crowing or cawking because, well, it's not 4 o'clock in the morning yet. And in 4 o'clock in the morning, he loves to crow. And you just kind of get used to listening to it. Anyway, so I want to tell you a story about a young woman named Fisher Cat, who was my girlfriend. And the story will tell you a lot about me as a person. And I figure it like this, that, as we get to know each other, one of us is going to have to start telling each other certain stories and stuff. I've already told you some things about me, but I figured, why not let me go first, because, well, the reality is you and I met on an internet dating site, which up until probably about a month ago, I never even touched any of them. But because of COVID-19, I really couldn't go out and meet anybody. And, I just decided to try it. So, we met on an internet dating site, and well, I think you know kind of who I am now. I think you know my personality and stuff, and I believe that after the conversations we had, I can see a bone structure of who you are. I see your character. I see your personality, your wit, your intelligence, your sense of humor, and many other things that I see about you. So I see a very, very good structure. I can tell that you're a very nice woman. I'm sure you have your problems just like I do, but we can work those things out. So, but I like you very much, and well, I figured I'll just go first, you know, and then because we've met on an internet dating site, I know how scary that can be. I know because you don't really know me fully. You don't know whether I'm a psychopath or anything like that, which I'm not, I assure you. And, well, I just figured I'll go first and make myself vulnerable. And you know what? If you hurt me, you hurt me. What do I have to lose? You hurt me with the things I've told you. I really have nothing to lose anyway because, well, you mean a lot to me already. And I could see a future with you. I want a future with you. And so I'm taking the risk, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's all. All right. So I'm going to swivel back in my chair a little bit. Hopefully it's not too annoying. So Fisher Cat, spelled K-A-T, just like your nickname. It's ironic, but you don't remind me of her at all. You're completely different. Trust me. Fisher Cat I met a while ago, and she and I were together. And when we first met, she and I were not together. We were just friends at first for a little while. And then we fell in love with each other. Well, a little background about Fisher Cat. Fisher Cat has bad anxiety. Some of the worst anxiety I have ever seen in my life, let me tell you. And she has severe depression as well. And so it's just kind of a bad combination, you know. I'm not judging anybody that has those things, you know. I'm friends with lots of people that, you know, have bipolar or depressed and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so Fisher Cat was a mess when I met her. She had been raped by her former boyfriend. He held her down and punched her in the back of the head and raped her. One night she didn't want to have sex. He wanted to have sex. She told him no. And, well, he was a douche, and he did what he wanted to do anyway. Now, I've always learned that when a woman tells you no, that means no. You don't push it. You don't make her feel uncomfortable. And you know why I believe that. I told you that story already about my mother. So, but he did that to her. And when I met her, she could only sleep for about an hour a night because she would have nightmares of being raped all night long. It was horrible. I felt terrible for the girl, actually. And she and I had met and started talking. And she started telling me about her life. And she told me, she says, you know, I've only told a couple of people this, but I was recently raped. And I'm having nightmares, and I can't sleep, and this, that, and the other. Now, Fisher Cat... My black and mild went out. Hold on one second. Talking too much, see? That's what happened. I hope this doesn't bother you too much. But, Fisher Cat was homeless when she was 12. And, well, she basically left a conservative Christian home, which is the same kind of home that I grew up in. I grew up in a home that taught me the Bible and this, that, and the other. Now, I'm not a Bible beater. I know it very well. And I live by most of the principles, but right now I don't even go to church, and I don't know when I'm going to go back to church. I do want to go back at some point. Maybe you'll go with me. I don't know. I don't even know what your spiritual background is except for, well, what it told me on the bio, but you can't always believe the bios. So, although I believe that you were probably true about it, but I'm just saying, in general, you can't typically believe the bios because, well, people tell all kinds of things on the bios to make themselves look a certain way to other people on the dating sites. Anyway, so Fisher Cat had been raped. She had bad anxiety, depression, and she and I became friends very quickly. We both had very traumatic experiences She grew up on the streets of Central Falls after she left her home. Central Falls is one of the worst cities in Rhode Island. It's not too far from Providence, and it's full of Latinos, which are not bad. I actually am fluent in Spanish, by the way. I haven't talked to you in Spanish yet, but I'm sure I will at some point. Anyway, I have lots of Latino friends, and so they're not bad people. So I don't say that it's full of Latinos because, or as to tell you that Central Falls is so bad because of Latinos. It just, the nature of Central Falls, it's just a bad place, and a bald-headed white boy like me has no business going there at night because the cops will just think I'm buying drugs or something like that. Anyway, so I would only go during the day. But anyway, Fisher Cat basically lived on the streets as a prostitute for years after she became homeless. And she became addicted to Molly and cocaine. Cocaine was her number one, and then Adderall. She was addicted to a lot of things, but she wasn't a heroin addict or a fentanyl addict, although she tried those things, I think. But anyway, so she was a major coke addict and a Molly addict. So, a drug addict pretty much. And when I met her, she had been clean for a few months. But she was trying to get right. She didn't want to do drugs anymore. She'd been clean for a while. She had stopped her life of prostitution a while back before that. And so she was basically homeless when I met her. Yeah. And exactly how we met and all, that's another story for another time. That's not the point. The point is that Fisher Cat and I became really good friends really quick because we had a lot in common with very terrible pasts and stuff. So she and I exchanged stories and all that kind of stuff, and just hit it off and just became good friends. Now, I wasn't attracted to her. I kind of looked at her as like a little sister in a sense. I didn't think anything about getting with her, especially since she had just been raped. I certainly, even if I was attracted to her, I wasn't going to try anything. I wasn't going to ask her out. I wasn't going to, try to do anything because she had been raped, and I wanted to respect her emotional, destruction, if you will. So, Fisher Cat and I, through various circumstances, ended up living together, just as friends. She was homeless. I was basically homeless because this best friend of mine that I told you about, that stabbed me in my back and robbed me and everything, basically left me homeless. But I always try to scrounge up money because that's just what I do. I have a lot of skills. I can do a lot of things, and I can usually find money somewhere or make money somewhere. A lot of people owed me money and stuff like that, and so I kind of came back to collect on those things that I just didn't collect on, because typically when I lend people money, I just forget about it. Oh, very yawny tonight. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not really that tired. I got great sleep last night, but I don't know, it's just yawny. Sometimes it's just yawny. Maybe it's just a long day in the sun. Anyway, I don't know if you can see my raccoon eyes from wearing my sunglasses, but I'm Irish and Italian. I basically go from white to red to peeling to white again for a number of weeks, and then I start turning brown eventually. It takes a long time. The Italian eventually, it comes out. It's like the Italian is boxing a match, and it finally, takes over. Anyway, so Fisher Cat and I were living together. I wanted to help take care of her. She had very little money, and she had basically offered to help me and give me almost her last dime to turn my cell phone on because I only had enough money basically to get a roof over my head. And